Yes, live here for Batman 20th anniversary with Andrea Romano. How's it going?
Really good, thank you very much.
Cool. So, I just gotta ask, this is kind of like an overall thing. How do you just acquire this innate talent to get these kind of like voice actors for these roles? Just like how does that happen?
Well, I started as an actress myself. That's what I was doing first. And then I became an agent representing actors who did voice work. And then I became a casting director. And then I was a director. And so all those stages helped inform everything that I did. I love actors. That helps.
Yeah.
I love the work. I love cartoons. That helps.
Yeah.
And it was kind of like that career was meant to be mine. I was supposed to be a voice director in animation, and at the time, when I first started doing this work, I didn't even know it existed as a career, that it was a possibility.
Wow.
There were no schools to go to study.
Yeah.
There was no template for me to follow, but I was in the right place at the right time.
Yeah. So for Batman Beyond and stuff, what was that whole process of like getting this whole cast? I mean, of course, you kind of say, okay, we need Kevin to come
Right.
back, but like, how did
Right.
everything else kind of come together for the rest of the cast?
I worked with a casting director named Leslie Lammers, and we did the show together.
Okay.
And we would keep a list of people that we had seen either on stage or on TV or in films, and just thought, that guy's got a great voice and he's a good actor. Let's see if we can't get him to come and play. So we reached out to a lot of people who had mostly theatrical credits and not animation credits, and that was really fun. Getting people like Chris Mulkey or William H. Macy or people who really hadn't done voiceover work who were really good. And so that was a joy.
Yeah. So lastly, did you expect this show to really, because it felt like, at least to me, I guess, ask your opinion, did you ever expect it to have this slow burn to get that popularity that it has now?
I did not know that it was going to still be in people's minds 20 years later, but I'm so grateful because I loved it.
Yeah.
And every time I would do a Comic-Con over the last 10 years or so, and people would bring a boxed set of Batman Beyond, I'd always say, oh, that show was so good. Why is that not still in the general conversation? And now it is again, so I'm happy.
All right, cool. Appreciate it. Thanks. Take
Pleasure.
time. Thanks.
Thank you.
I am here with executive producer of Batman Beyond, Glen Murakami. How's it going, sir?
Hi, good.
So, actually, this is actually a good comparison. Do you feel Batman Beyond and Beware the Batman have a correlation in terms of slow burn for folks that actually really kind of latch onto it?
Oh, yeah, I think so. I hope so.
Yeah.
I think whenever you do something new, I think the fans are always freaked out by it.
Yeah.
But, I'm not breaking into their house and throwing away all their Adam West Batman shows. So sometimes the fans seem like they're so offended that we try to do something new.
Yeah.
But, we're always trying to do something new with the character, so.
Yeah, because that was one of the things that I liked about Beware the Batman. It's like, oh, he has Katana as a partner now, and he has everything with Alfred. I was like, oh, this is it. And then that kind of made me sad that the show kind of like went off the way it did and stuff. So.
It made us sad too.
Oh, yeah, definitely. So did you ever expect this show to really kind of like I said, 20 years, get an anniversary, and just everything? Is just...
No. But, I mean, I'm glad it did. I'm happy that people are still fans of it. I think, too, we're making this stuff and we're so isolated.
Yeah.
I think sometimes we don't really hear what the fans think until, like, much later. But it's always, like, after the show's been canceled.
Yeah.
That's when we hear, like, we love that show. Why'd they get rid of it? So it's like... Sorry.
I mean, have you, the way social media has kind of grown and stuff, so is it kind of easier for you guys to kind of get that feedback immediately versus when this show came out back then?
No, I mean, I've been telling people I didn't think people liked the show when we first made it.
Yeah. I mean, it was kind of bizarre-ish at the time.
Yeah. And I kind of feel like maybe around Return of the Joker, we started to sway people.
Yeah.
But I think at first people were like, what is this? So, but I don't know. I don't know. I think it takes the audience a while to get kind of used to something new.
Yeah.
So, but you've got to give us a chance.
Oh, yeah,
Same thing with Beware. It's like.
I think the animation style kind of was like, to be honest with you, I think Green Lantern kind of made people kind of like, all right, Beware the Batman. It's like, all right, the animation style is like, all right, it's actually pretty.
Yeah,
bad.
but even with Beware, I'm following Bruce Timm. I'm following James Tucker. It's like, let me try to do something a little different, or I'm just going to make the exact same thing over and over. So, you want each thing to kind of have a unique feel to it. So you don't want the fans, too, to just think, we are making exactly
Yeah.
the same thing over and over. So, try.
Oh, cool. Yeah. So lastly, what is your Teen Titans
Okay.
and Teen Titans Go?
Okay.
Are you excited seeing these both properties kind of meld? Because a lot of people were not feeling Teen Titans Go, and now they're like, "Oh my God, I love Teen Titans Go now."
it's
It actually ties into the same thing of people.
But yeah, it's the same thing. I think whenever people see it, they're always like thrown off by
Yeah.
it. But even Titans, when we first announced Titans, people were like, "Oh,
Yeah.
what is this?" And then even like people would come up to me and go, I thought that show was gonna suck, but I guess it's all right.
Yeah.
So I think people just need to kind of give it a chance.
Yeah. So what do you think of Teen Titans Go in that whole crossover?
I
That's
mean,
happening?
I don't think I could have made Go. Go is such a different spin on the show,
Yeah.
but that's kind of what we try to do with everything. We
Yeah.
try to make it different and unique. So Go, it's its own thing.
Yeah.
Like Titans wasn't part of kind of like the Bruce Timm universe. So
Yeah, it's his own thing.
yeah, I don't know that you can kind of compare Go to the original. They're just different.
Yeah, but I mean, like I said, from what I'm saying, it looks like they're able to meld it together in a way that's actually funny with that crossover movie.
Sure,
So,
but it's different sensibilities.
oh
you
yeah,
know?
definitely.
So-
But yeah, thanks for taking the time to talk to us. So appreciate
Sure.
it.
Thank you.
No problem. I'm here with Terry McGinnis himself, Will Friedle. How's it going, sir?
Good. How you doing?
So 20 years. Did you expect this show to have the slow burn in popularity? Because you were there at ground zero when all this popped off. So I mean,
Yeah. I mean, it's one of those things where Batman the Animated Series was so popular
Yeah.
that I didn't think anything would ever, be able to last that long. But good storytelling does it every time, and the episodes are great and they hold up. And yeah, we've been really lucky.
Yeah, I mean, so how to frame this properly. So, you're being Terry McGinnis. One of the things that I like about the comics is that, thinking back to Terry, he kind of had a bit of Dick Grayson, Nightwing-esque elements to him and
Sure.
stuff in terms of him kind of being his own man as Batman and stuff. So, even Dick Grayson in the comics, he's his own person as
Sure.
Batman and stuff. So all of them kind of have like, I want to be Batman, but I don't want to be the Batman. Was that kind of the approach that they went for with Terry for the show?
Yeah, I think so, and I think they also wanted to come from a place of, it was, Dick and Bruce.
Yeah.
So not even Nightwing at the
Yeah.
time. Robin and
Yeah,
Bruce
yeah.
had to really fight together.
Yeah.
And Terry and Bruce never had to do that.
Yeah.
So that's one of the things where I think their relationship was certainly different. Was the closest that Bruce ever got to the fights with Terry was just in his cowl.
Yeah.
So there wasn't that same competition. There's almost that spirit of competition between Dick Grayson and Bruce
Yeah.
Wayne, where I can do it one better than you.
Yeah.
And Terry didn't have to deal with any of that because
Yeah.
Bruce was already off the battlefield. So I think that was certainly changed the dynamic a little bit. And Bruce, because he was not totally homebound, but certainly too old to put on the suit
Yeah.
anymore, he really had to live vicariously through Terry.
Yeah.
Which he didn't have to do with Dick. So yeah, it was a totally different thing with especially with Grayson.
Yeah, because especially like, seeing that epilogue episode, seeing that Terry actually is going to possibly get married, and it's like, oh, he actually managed to find some sort of balance in
Yeah.
some sort of chaotic way, I guess.
And that's the other thing is I think almost more than any other person in Bruce's life, Terry was able to take the good of Bruce
Yeah.
and then say there's certain things about his life I'd never want, and one of those is being alone and
Yeah.
that kind of thing. So that was the other thing he was able to do pretty well was try to find that balance.
Yeah, so, but appreciate it.
Thank
Taking
you.
time out to talk to us. So
Good
take
seeing
it
you
easy.
again.
Good seeing you.
Thank
too.
you.
They're Batman Beyond, Bob Goodman. How's it going, sir?
It's going great. How are you?
Pretty good. So 20 years.
20 years.
For Batman Beyond.
So old.
very-
Me, I mean, not the show.
I feel old too.
The show's fresh as a daisy.
Very, very fresh, very fresh. When you guys kind of brainstormed writing this show, what was kind of like the first thing you guys kind of went about it? I guess let me rephrase it. When y'all actually started writing for the show, was there always a constant reminder, okay, we don't want to be like the 93 show, we kind of want to be its own thing, basically, from jump?
Well, sure. I mean, one of the amazing things that I learned working on a bunch of the DC animated shows, Superman and Batman
Yeah.
and this, and Justice League and Zeta Project
Yeah.
and Static Shock,
Yeah.
we never wanted to repeat ourselves.
Okay.
We thought about it as a continuous universe, and if we had done a story before anywhere in that universe,
Yeah.
we weren't going to do it again on another show.
Okay.
I did that to him in another
Oh,
interview,
yeah,
so
yeah.
we're just getting even. And so the war begins.
Yes.
Um,
But not
the-
repeating yourself, basically.
That's right. You might have heard already on the panel. It was probably the first thing we started doing was thinking about old rogues gallery villains.
Yeah, I
and
remember seeing- yeah.
it immediately kind of struck us we shouldn't be doing that.
Make his
We're not-
own Rose Gallery.
Yeah,
basically.
we're just not going to do Batman again, and so we're not going to show the same villains again, at least until it really made sense, and until
Yeah,
this
like Mr.
show.
Freeze,
Yeah,
you know,
Mr. Freeze and Rachel
Joker.
were the ones that kind of came up, and Joker obviously further along, but we didn't do that at first because there wasn't a new world and new characters that we had really established to tell new stories
Yeah.
with those villains, and so we really were pushing ourselves to do something people hadn't seen before.
How did you come up with these? Because I will be honest with you, I love his Rose Gallery because they're very unique
Yeah.
in some ways. So
Yeah.
how did you come about like brainstorming like the power sets
Well,
and things like that?
Things came from a lot of different directions. As Bruce and Glen and James were talking about on the panel, a lot like we kind of started in our separate corners. The artists on one side and the
Yeah.
writers on the other, brainstorming. So we were brainstorming stories. What they were doing was drawing some villains.
Yeah.
And so, a perfect example of the way something went. Glenn drew this character. I think it was Glenn. Drew
Yeah.
ink. Was it Glenn or James? I think it was Glenn.
Glen, yeah, Glen,
Yeah. Drew this character ink,
Yeah.
but then it was a drawing on a piece of paper, and it came over to us, the writers, and I was assigned to come up with who this character is
Yeah.
and you know what are we going to do with her, and again it kind of started as well. We need our version of a shapeshiftery Clayface character, but we didn't want to do the same Clayface origin story
Yeah.
again. We didn't want to do
Tragic
the
and-
the fell in a vat of chemicals
Yeah.
kind of origin, and so we went. She was designed. She was deliberate. She was a corporate espionage spy, and so it was that kind of back and forth. Sometimes it would we dropped the comics like Spellbinder. I was flipping through the DC who's who
Yeah.
of villains that we hadn't seen before,
Yeah.
and so that's how that one came around. It came from everywhere.
Yeah, cool. Lastly, Zeta Project.
Yeah.
Underrated show to me.
Well, thank you.
How did that get brainstormed into his own show?
So, when I originally did the first Zeta episode,
Yeah.
that was just supposed to be a one-off. There wasn't going to be,
Yeah.
there's no talk of
It felt
us
like
gonna-
a one-off.
Oh, I'm glad. Yeah, that was the intention.
Yeah.
And then afterward, I said to Alan Burnett one night, it happened. The Emmys came right after, when that show was in pre-production, that
Yeah.
episode, and so a few drinks into the night, I said to Alan, hey, this could be its own series, and he said, sure, pitch it to the studio, and I did, and the studio loved it, and it all kind of happened from there, and I'm really, obviously, I'm very glad that I had that opportunity, and I'm really proud of the stuff we did on that show, and I always love to hear when people liked it.
Oh yeah, because I mean, it was kind of one of that during that time where it's like, well, this character can get a TV show, and it's like, all right, I'll watch it. Why not? And it kind of felt like it did kind of intertwine in that overarching world of things. So.
And I really tried to push the serialization of stories,
Yeah.
which I don't think anyone else was doing in kids animation at the time. I think it was the first time that, I kind of had to get the idea of a previously on,
Yeah.
into people's heads
Yeah.
in kids animation because no other kids animated show had done that before. And so, like I said, I'm really proud of a lot of what we accomplished on that show.
Well, appreciate you joining in for us.
Chris, thanks a lot.
All right, no problem.
Thank you.
Cool. I am here at San Diego Comic-Con with James Tucker. How's it going, sir?
Going great.
Great. So, I mean, you have your hands in everything across the board, DC, just across just everything and stuff.
Right.
So, 20 years of Batman Beyond. Was there ever any expectation that it would have that slow burn of popularity versus the '93 series and other shows?
Not at all. Not one. Not in any.
Not even just a slither.
I mean, I think by the time it was done, and by the time Return of the Joker came out,
Yeah.
the actual version, the original version we
yeah.
intended, came out a couple of years after it was supposed to. And I think the internet at the time had turned around and started being more favorable to the show because initially they weren't.
Yeah.
Which the thing I learned from that was that our real fans are the ones who were kids coming home after school to watch the show.
Yeah.
And that they won't have a voice until 20 years.
Oh yeah, clear.
And so the reason we're here now is because of those little kids that the show was really for anyway.
Yeah.
Not the haters who were online back then, and the minuscule,
boards.
the horrible, horrible message boards. Who
See, we're
you know-
old and we know
Oh,
that.
okay,
Message
all
boards,
right.
Clearly,
Well,
message
you don't
boards,
look
we
as
know
old as
about
I
that.
am. But I was
Thank
like,
you, sir.
we only, we'd have to print out the message boards, and it'd be like only 5 pages, and we'd all hover over them and read, and it was hate, 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 hate,
Yeah.
hate, 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 hate. And it was kind of, I think it actually made us more,
Kind of like we got.
fired up to
Yeah.
do stuff. But yeah, it was pretty pathetic.
Yeah, because I always felt like, when y'all actually did Epilogue for
Yeah,
Justice League and
yeah.
stuff, I was like, it kind of blew me away that y'all actually was like, oh, they remember the show. Like, oh, okay.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Y'all,
yeah.
so was there like kind of like y'all had to go through a process to get the green light, or were y'all just able to just do it just
For
because?
epilogue or for what?
For epilogue.
Yeah. Well, what happened was, after Return of the Joker,
Yeah.
Bruce and Glen were kicking around ideas because we thought, hopefully, Return of the Joker would sell 1 billion,
Yeah.
and they'd want a follow-up. Well, little did we, that all blew up in our face because, the network wouldn't support it. They had to get recut and re-edited. And then when it came out, the recut and watered-down version didn't sell well.
Yeah.
So that dashed the idea of a follow-up until much later when we were doing Justice League.
Yeah.
And Bruce remembered, well, this was the plot we kind of were thinking about. And the original plot would have been, instead of Amanda Waller, it would have been Catwoman.
Oh, nice.
And she was going to do a kind of Manchurian candidate on Terry and
Yeah.
control his mind, because she was the one who had planted,
Yeah.
basically created
Yeah,
him
yeah.
from. And so, so that would have been the second movie.
Yeah.
But I kind of like how it turned out. I'm glad it didn't happen, because I think Epilogue is a much stronger and came totally out of the blue.
Yeah.
And we'd already introduced Terry into Justice League through, The Call,
Yeah.
but also there was a flashback in,
I think it was an Epilogue where it was like
Yeah.
arguing and fighting like
Yeah.
Clayface kind of character. It looked like
Yeah.
that.
well, also he appeared in
Oh, the
Once,
two-parter.
Yeah,
Yeah,
the-
the two-part. Yeah.
Once and Future thing,
Yeah.
written by Dwayne McDuffie.
Ah, there you
Um,
go.
So anyway, I don't know, what was your question? I'm
No,
totally
I
lost.
think you did hit it. You did
Okay,
hit it.
all right.
But lastly, I had to shout this out. Legion of Superheroes,
Oh,
criminally underrated show.
I'm used to working on criminally underrated things.
I mean, hey, this is one of them.
Yeah,
Easily
hey.
is, I mean,
That's everything after BTAS and Titans has basically been criminally underrated.
I mean, is that?
So
do
let's
you-
just
do
say
you-
that.
Do you see
And
that
Young
as
Justice.
Do you see that as a pattern, or it's like you just get on these shows? Because I mean, Legion, it seemed like there was like so many deep cuts in that show, and it's like.
I mean, for me as a comic book fan and a TV nerd, I can't do a show if I can't access those kind of,
Yeah.
like, I can't put in some fan stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, it's the stuff I'd want to see when I watch stuff, and so yeah, I tried to make that show as close to the Legion as they'd allow me,
Yeah.
and of course it had to look different. It couldn't look retro.
Oh, yeah.
What I learned about
Clearly.
Legion fans is none of them agree on which era was the best.
Well, that's common fans, period.
That's comic book fans, period. But Legion fans in particular seem particularly tribalistic about which era they
This
love.
is better. This is better.
Yeah, and so you really can't win with them. But I tried to pick and choose from each
Yeah.
era to kind of make it appeal to as many and Legion fans as I could. But it was doomed because that network wasn't was pretty much on life support by the time that show went
I
on
think
the
all
air.
channels were at that point.
Yeah.
It was like, yeah.
So it was, I love that show. I really liked the second season because I started working with Michael Jelnick, who ended up working with me on Brave and the Bold, and
Yeah.
we had a really good partnership, and I think the show improved.
Yeah.
And so,
Yeah, but you also, Brave and the Bold, you gave us quite possibly the funniest Aquaman. I love that.
well, to me, it was Aquaman was who he was.
Yeah.
If you took Aquaman and just did a rundown of who he is,
Yeah.
that personality fit with his description.
Oh, yeah, easily.
And that's the only problem with Aquaman prior to that is he didn't have a personality
Yeah.
that people could glom on. I didn't want to make him so funny that he was a joke as a hero, though.
Yeah.
I didn't want to do fish jokes.
But it's endearing in a family kind of way.
Like you root for him because he thinks being a superhero is fun.
Yeah.
He thinks it's
Yeah.
super friends in the best possible way.
Oh, yeah,
'cause
definitely.
He literally is friends with all the other heroes.
Yeah.
Because he loves being a superhero. So
Yeah.
that was
I love that whole show overall, but Aquaman was like the standout easily.
let's get an Aquaman directed video.
Oh, yeah, we need that. But thanks
All
for taking time to talk
Thank
to us,
you.
man. Appreciate
All right. DJ Sue back here again, Three Black Geeks. We are at San Diego Comic-Con 2019, and I am here once again with the honorary brother himself,
I'm the honorary brother.
Batman, Mr. Kevin Conroy. How you doing?
You're doing great. How you doing?
I'm doing very well. It's good to see you again.
Good to see you. Good to see you.
So, now here we are with Batman Beyond's 20th anniversary. 20 years.
I know.
It's crazy.
Crazy.
20 years.
It's crazy.
Well, my first question for you about the 20th anniversary is, during the time that you were recording your voice, again, legendary voice, when you were doing the voice for the show, did you think that this show would catch on the same way that Batman the Animated Series did?
That's a good question. I'm not sure I was convinced because it was a whole different look. And so much of the appeal of the original show was that noir, gritty New York look of the show, a very sort of 30s look. And this was totally different. So I really wasn't sure. But then when I saw the cast that they were getting in there, the guest stars, William H. Macy, John Ritter, Terry Garr, I mean, they got amazing actors, and everyone wanted to be a part of the show. And I thought, well, clearly this is going to be a hit because these performances are so good. But in terms of the artwork, I wasn't sure. I wasn't sure how it would pick up with the audience because audiences are very faithful to certain things, and they fall in love with things. And it's hard to get them to unfall in love with them, you know what I mean? To change, to date the different girl for a while, So the fact that they did with this was fantastic.
I felt the same way about it. Like when I saw the first 3 seasons of the original animated series, I loved the art style, and then season 4 comes in, the art style changes.
I know, and everyone picked
that was,
up on that.
And that was an adjustment for me.
Yeah.
So
Well, imagine how jarring this adjustment was for a lot of people.
it was weird,
Yeah.
but I got around to it and I started liking it. And
Yeah, me too.
then when the movie came out, Return of the Joker, and I'm like, okay, you got me.
I know.
You got
that
me.
was so great. I know.
It was really good.
And that's on the Blu-ray, so that's great.
Yeah. So I guess the other thing I can ask you about this is, what, if you have one, what is your favorite episode from Batman Beyond?
Return of the Joker. I mean,
That's a good answer.
That's really my favorite one. Yeah.
That's a good answer. I like
Okay.
that. It's perfect. Well, listen, it's good seeing you
Good
again.
seeing you. Take care.
You too.
See you.
Thank you.